Yes, hello, I am here, but I have troubles because my computer broke down yesterday. So the most of I'm now connecting from the mobile. Yeah, we had a lot of technical difficulties, but we managed to do some work as well. Maybe just to explain then briefly the idea behind the code that was submitted, and then I would ask my colleague Borna to continue to explain from the technical perspective of what was implemented. What we decided to do, we decided to create a framework which would be enabling any type of actors, collective actors. So here we are talking about any kind of organized group of people, being that cooperatives, municipalities, more formal or informal group, to create tokens that would be used for some particular social and economical goal. So maybe the easiest way to understand it is to enable a creation of a digital barter economy in a way that it would be possible to create utility tokens. So we are here talking about tokens that are tied to, for example, kilowatt hour of energy, or a certain area of food production, or certain service, provision of certain service, where the value of the token would be tied to the value, to the amount of the products or services produced. And what we wanted to do is create a platform that would enable a seamless exchange of those tokens to each other, and all integrated in one electronic wallet. Why it is important? Because we believe that this is the future of the economy, that the whole centralization that is currently present under the monetary system globally is not able to quickly enough and adequately enough response to different types of challenges that are present, and about many of which other projects we're talking today and are engaged in their projects, so that the future is in more flexibility in the creation of tokens that would better be focused to the resolving of one particular economic or social problem. So the idea is to create that platform that would be then kind of the meta platform, enabling then any other type of concrete specific goal on the community level to have much clearer relationship, economic relationship that are then defined by this token. I would make also a conclusion, but now I would ask my colleague Borna to say what was besides what was of this idea implemented during this hackathon, regardless of these technical issues that we experienced. So we were not basically able to achieve everything that we wanted in this short period of time. Borna, are you here?
Yes, I am. Hello.
Okay, so please take over, and then I will add if you forget something.
Okay. So the thing that we're going for is to allow the local municipalities, community, companies, interest groups, etc., to be able to define their own currencies and be able to create and exchange value through the use of those tools. Basically, that boils down to mintable Ethereum tokens that would be handled by a central authority. Now, the problem that we were solving is inherently centralized, because there is usually some kind of committee that meets and that decides that they will issue a token that will then grant capability to certain people to use the public transportation, for example. So, but the thing where the actors have most issues here is the infrastructure and the technological side of the story. So my plan was actually to try to code less and make it as simple as possible to the design, use, and deploy the software. Blockchain comes here handy because it allows hosting via Swarm. The general design principles around static files is conducive to easy deployments on S3, for example, or any other place, and simplify the tokens as much as possible so that people, when they go around and do it, can mess the least possible amount up. It's a part of a bigger ecosystem where we have already developed fiat gateways and cryptography based on MIFARE chips, which are often used in transportation devices and can be used as a sort of and can be used to supplement basically the Visa and MasterCard card networks if used properly, if used in a proper cryptographic context. All of that in mind, in the end we basically have an Ethereum. We basically have an Ethereum token, and the idea is to create a library of templates based on real-world uses of each and every depending on the requirements of the service providers. I actually feel I feel in my background, I have 30 years of development experience. I have a lot of experience in the credit card and the banking sector. I never looked at Solidity in my life before this context started. We put in front of ourselves a fairly big goal to define the framework for local currencies and locally utility tokens, and I was frankly amazed by how actually simple it was. It feels like chicken. So yeah, there it is.
It's great. Thank you.
No, it was really great. Thank you both for being willing to speak.
I would maybe just excuse me, just for a summary, maybe to try to visualize it through some kind of the future, let's say semi-utopian scenario. So the basically the technology and the vision that we were implementing would allow theoretically that in the future economic activities that are tied to human salaries, for example, something like I don't know, getting salaries could be done in a way that it could be in a definition, some kind of the universal basic income. But for example, that you get a salary in a number of kilowatt hours or heat that you need to use to heat your home or to run your power appliances, combined with the number of tokens that you also get as a part of the salary that is covering your food production. And where all of this is tied to the local ownership in the investment into the systems that are producing and providing you that kind of services. So that's some kind of the reality that I think is now technologically feasible. That is very much in line with the thinking of people that see the opportunities of technology, which is now bringing to the decentralization of financial flows and the economy in general. So I believe that this what we have presented today is one very tiny step towards that kind of semi-utopian vision.